you very much for joining me today. It's much appreciated.
Thank you.
Well, Emmanuel Macron's victory in the French election has not delivered any boost to the euro at all. In fact, the single currency has fallen against the US dollar this morning. It's higher against the pound very slightly, though, as you can see there, sterling off by just over 0.25% right now against the euro off by nearly 0.5% right now against the US dollar. Meanwhile, sterling has fallen very sharply against the dollar, as you can see there, down by 0.75%. Sterling actually today at its lowest level against the dollar since September 2020. Well, on the equity markets, the heavy falls on Wall Street on Friday evening were followed by declines across the Asia-Pacific region overnight. All of the main indices falling very sharply. Shanghai, as you can see there, off by more than 5% amid concerns over the surge in COVID cases in major Chinese cities. The Hang Seng in Hong Kong, meanwhile, off by 3.75%. Well, it's been a similar situation in Europe this morning since the opening a couple of hours ago. So here's the current picture. All of the main indices off by at least 1%, and the CAC 40 there in France off by more than 2.5% right now. Talking points in Europe today include Philips. The shares of the Dutch medical equipment maker are off by some 10% in Amsterdam. And that's after supply chain issues hit the company's quarterly profits. Here in London, the FTSE 100 also deep in negative territory right now, off by 2.25% in a broad-based sell-off led by the mining and oil heavyweights. Shell and BP alone have taken some 40 points off the index, as you can see there. Look at that, BP off by 5.5%. There are only a handful of blue chips right now in positive territory, and it's a similar position outside the FTSE 100. The convenience store operator McColl's, well, its shares have fallen by 52% this morning following a disappointing trading update. There are only about 9 companies in the FTSE 250 that are in positive territory right now. One of the gainers is PureTech Health. That's up 1% ahead of results tomorrow. Meanwhile, the oil price, well, as you would expect, with concerns over China to the fore, the price of Brent crude has come off very sharply. A barrel right now trading at just under 5% lower, $101.32 a barrel. Well, joining me now is the Chief Investment Officer at Waverton Investment Management, Bill Dinning. Bill, welcome to you. Let's talk briefly about the French elections. Was there any sort of impact on the markets at all, or are they just being affected by what's going on in China right now?
Fed and other central banks and the hawkishness that we continue to see that was reiterated last week. But the China situation, I think, is the other dominant theme. Obviously, Macron's victory is going to be taken well. Le Pen had reinvented herself in some ways, but her share of the vote is very low still relative to in the history of the Fifth Republic. Unless your candidate's name is Le Pen, the runoff election has tended to be very close, and this wasn't really close.
Absolutely. Well, look, I mean, looking at your latest note to investors, I mean, you were conservatively placed at the beginning of the month. Presumably, you feel vindicated by events. We've had, as you say, we've had more hawkishness from the Fed. This situation in China is really quite concerning.
It is, and of course the problem with what's going on in China is, as ever, it's very difficult to get a really accurate handle on what's happening. You know, there's lots of different ways that you can try and get a handle on it, but you know, we're probably rightly slightly sceptical of some of the official news releases or the official reporting, and the anecdotal certainly seems to suggest that we have as many as perhaps 400 million people in China in some form of lockdown at the moment. So it's not surprising that that's creating, you know, things like these pictures of the number of ships outside Shanghai. And there is good data showing that we are seeing these supply chain problems be genuine. You know, the amount of time it takes to get things from A to B is doubling relative to where it was a few months ago, or certainly pre-pandemic. So those things are going to have a negative knock-on. And ultimately, what really matters to the market, particularly the equity market at the moment, is does the combination of hawkishness, supply chain issues, high inflation, does that lead to a recession? At the moment, the probability, we've suggested the probability is about 25% of a recession in the United States. But you know, is that probability going to go up or down in the next month or so? I think there's a distinct risk it goes up, and I think that's what the stock market's picking up for sure.
I mean, Bill, we have this hoary old adage, of course, sell in May and go away. It feels like that might be the best strategy this time around this year.
Yes, I think like all adages, that's one of those ones that worked for decades, and then when everybody discovered it wasn't so good. But I certainly think we've got the Fed meeting at the beginning of next month on the 4th. I think what they actually deliver relative to what the market's expecting hopefully won't be much different. I.e., the market's expecting a 50 basis point hike then, and then another one at the next meeting. The other thing that's going on, of course, is companies are reporting at the moment. And so far, actually, the earnings season has been okay. If you look at the aggregate expectations that analysts have around the world or in the US or in the UK for earnings, they haven't really gone down. And in fact, generally, I think the earnings season so far has been okay. But we've only had about 20%, I think it is, of S&P 500 companies reporting up to now. I think I'm right that over a third of them report this week. So it's going to be very important to see what, if anything, they're willing to say about the future. But I think it's very difficult to see how all of this inflationary pressure, the cost pressure, isn't going to add up to some pressure on earnings as certainly in this quarter, and the market, I think, is legitimately concerned about that.
All right, Bill, good as ever to talk to you. Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you.
Well, some other business news stories for you now. And Twitter has reportedly opened talks with Elon Musk about a takeover by the Tesla chief executive. The Wall Street Journal says the two sides met on Sunday to discuss Mr. Musk's proposal and were making progress, although they still had issues to thrash out. Well, Twitter had initially been preparing to repel Mr. Musk, but its stance changed when it became clear that he had some $46.5 billion worth of funding in place and that he had spoken in private on Friday to a number of Twitter's leading shareholders. The second biggest investor in Just Eat Takeaway is urging shareholders to vote out the company's chief financial officer at its forthcoming annual meeting. Cat Rock, which owns nearly 7% of the food delivery platform, is unhappy at Just Eat's recent financial performance, which has resulted in a 48% drop in the company's share price so far this year. Well, last week, Just Eat put Grubhub, the US business it only bought last year, up for sale. And the property giant British Land has agreed to sell a 75% stake in its Paddington Central development for £694 million. Well, the buyer is Singapore's sovereign wealth fund, GIC. Well, Paddington Central occupies an 11-acre site alongside the Grand Union Canal, and it includes office, residential, hotel, retail and leisure spaces. Among companies that have offices there are Vodafone, Microsoft, Visa and Prudential. British Land acquired the majority of Paddington Central in July 2013. Now, the surge in house prices shows no signs of abating, with one index this morning showing the average asking price on a home has hit a new record for the third month in a row. Well, according to Rightmove, the average asking price in April for a home was £360,101. Over the last 3 months, the average asking price has surged by more than £19,000. That is the biggest cash jump Rightmove has recorded in any 3-month period since its records began. The average asking price has jumped by more than £5,500 in the last month alone. And more than half of properties are selling at or over their final advertised asking price. Well, joining me now is the Director of Data Services at Rightmove, Tim Bannister. Tim, welcome to you. And clearly, 3 consecutive rate rises from the Bank of England has done nothing to take the heat out of the market.
That's right. I mean, it's still a really strong market in terms of price. We've seen not only a record price across the UK, the headline number, but what we call a full house. So for all regions that we cover, plus all sectors. So first-time buyer sector, second stepper sector, and the top of the ladder sector as well. So yeah, demand still seems to be really strong, with people prioritizing moving home. And we've seen strong demand for some time now. It's up 60 to 70% above where we were seeing demand in 2019, a more normal year. And it really is outstripping supply. So hence, we've seen some strong price rises.
Tim, we keep hearing that more property is coming onto the market because obviously there's been a shortage of stock over the last couple of years or so. That doesn't seem to be making much of a difference.
Yeah, I think there are some green shoots. There's some positive signs. We're seeing new stocks and new listings coming to the market. They're not far off where they were about in 2019, or they're not far off where they were sort of a 5-year average. But as you say, it's the fact that the demand is so strong at the moment, with people prioritizing that move, that it's picking up that stock really, really quickly. So, in fact, it's taking 33 days at the moment by our records from the time you bring a property onto market to the time it's becoming sold. So, sold subject to contract. That's the quickest we've recorded. It's twice as fast as it was back in 2019. So, it's a really efficient market at the moment as well, with lots of properties coming onto the market. Yes, that's positive, but lots of people wanting them. So, therefore, they're moving really quickly.
Tim, in your commentary accompanying these figures this morning, you make clear you don't think there's going to be a hard landing for the market. Why not?
Well, I think that's, when we look at the demand numbers, that's really what's sort of driving that thought process. Of course, there are some headwinds, widely reported headwinds around cost of living crisis. We know that we've seen sort of interest rates increase, and that will filter through into sort of mortgage rates, but they're still at very, very low levels. And what we're seeing is, people are looking at that news, they're assessing their own situation, and they are still deciding that they want to move. And at the same time, we are seeing, obviously, that, as we discussed, the sort of supply at relatively low levels compared to where the demand is. So we think that's what's going to provide the support. We think that, over time, we will see that demand start to stabilize. We will see more stock coming on, which will give, whilst it support price increases and prices as we see at the moment. And we don't think we're going to see large or sustained falls at all. We may see some small sort of seasonal falls as we would normally see in sort of the middle of the summer and towards the end of the year. That's what we would normally expect to see with our indices, but nothing out of the ordinary. And I think it's because of that continued strong demand and supply trying to catch up with it.
And Tim, the regional picture, it still seems to be as it was with the pandemic. Wales and the West Country leading the way in terms of the strength of their markets.
Yeah, exactly. So the Southwest has been a really strong region. Quite early on, Cornwall, for example, outstripped London in terms of as the most searched for area. And it's those in the Southwest, it is those sort of seaside coastal towns. It's Torquay, Newquay, Brixham. Those are some of the sort of hotspot areas. In Wales, we've also got that theme of coastal towns and coastal areas and regional areas. But we're also seeing in Wales some of the themes that we're seeing elsewhere in the country, which is people wanting to move to those commuter areas, a little bit out of the main towns or main cities, Cardiff or Swansea, and that commuter belt around it being really strong as well. Again, driven by strong demand and perhaps supply struggling to catch up with it.
All right, Tim Bannister, good to talk to you. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you.
Well, still to come here on Ian King Live. One business that's using its resources to deliver aid to Ukraine. Stay tuned.
To take the political temperature midweek. So we'll be discussing the biggest stories of the week so far, talking about what's still to come, having a look at Prime Minister's questions, of course, and getting a reaction from politicians, plus our very own viewers. And we'll have analysis from my Sky News colleagues.
The Tape with Sophie Rich on Sky News.
Welcome back. We're very, very briefly going to break away from the business news for just a moment with a bit of breaking news this morning. 3 women and a man have died at a stabbing at a house in South London. Police were called to the address in the early hours of this morning after reports of a disturbance in the Bermondsey area. Our reporter Sadia Chowdhury joins us now from Bermondsey. Sadia, what's the latest?
Well, the first thing I should say is that police are still in the process of contacting the next of kin. But what we do know is that 4 people died here last night, 3 women and a man. It happened here on Delaford Road in the Bermondsey area, as you say. Police were called to this property at around 1:40 in the early hours of this morning to reports of a disturbance at the address. And when they arrived, they had to break in to the house, force their way in, and that's where they say they found 4 people with fatal stab wounds. And as I say, next of kin are being informed and post-mortem examinations are being arranged. And this has really shocked this community. The police cordon has been in place since the incident happened. It is still here, and you can see just over my shoulder that there is a screen that's been put up in place, and from our aerial shots we can see that there are 4 forensic tents that have been sort of dotted up around the street. And the neighbours here in this local area say they're really shocked. Many of them heard from their SE16 Facebook page what happened. Others say they were just out walking their dogs when they found out what happened. And one woman who spoke to us said that she knows the family that lives there, that she had just been dining with them last week. So they're very shocked. There's a corner here on the road where a group of neighbours had huddled, and everyone's sort of comforting each other in this time. And police say that a murder investigation is underway. They've arrested one man. He's been taken to a police station in South London where he remains in custody. And all 5 of them, that's the man who's been arrested, and the 4 people who died, are believed to have known each other.
All right, Sadia, thanks for that. Now, are businesses doing enough to provide humanitarian support for Ukraine? Well, my next guest thinks not. Rafał Brzozowska is Poland's best-known businessman. He founded InPost, one of Europe's biggest parcel locker businesses. Well, this weekend, he launched a privately funded humanitarian transport train travelling from Poland to Ukraine, laden with containers. And I'm very pleased to say Rafał Brzozowska joins me now. Rafał, very good morning to you. So what was your motivation for this?
Yeah, good morning, Ian. So, maybe a little bit of background. We are dealing with a cruel attack on Ukraine, and just, a history of a friend of mine, a man with whom I recently worked, told me that he was trying to build a body armor from the hood of an old car. It's crazy. It's a kind of desperation. And we, Poles, ordinary people, immediately accommodated Ukrainian women and children in our own homes. There are no refugee camps at all here in Poland. And we have welcomed almost 3 million refugees already. So this is the motivation, that I would not be able to sit passively today and plan the further expansion of our parcel lockers in Ukraine or in Europe, or especially what we do today in the UK, forgetting about Ukraine. So seeing the nightmare massacre that happened in Bucha and Irpin, I couldn't get over it, and I don't understand how you can see these dead babies or the bombed maternity hospitals and sit down quietly at the table, make an espresso or open a bottle of good Burgundy wine. So, that's why we did it. And the InPost business is about getting things where they are needed. And that's what we do. And we gave up from day one of the war, all our trucks to NGOs, cities, and all people who wanted to help, but simply needed transportation. And we as InPost have already transported more than 6,000 tons to Ukraine, no charging any single penny for the service, of an equivalent of probably more than 4 million euro already. So that's why we wanted, jointly with my wife, do something as well, privately, donating the train transport. It took us 3 weeks to organize.
It's absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use Sendwave? Sendwave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Tune in to On Point here on Star Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Star Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Check me out. He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of the darkness. Of darkness.
So what did that
myself and the world will adjust. And 2019.
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on The CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Star Radio.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Star Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
All around the world. In your car,
At work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
This is Star Radio UK. Are you ready to turn it up?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Your heart is aching. Smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. Hey, this is Archie and you're listening to Starr Radio UK. Let me say a massive good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you, wherever you might be on planet Earth, and those of you who live on other planets as well. We say a massive hello to you, and we want to welcome you to the Monday edition of the morning show on Starr Radio UK. Let me say a special good morning to my colleagues, Mr. Frank Davis, Mr. Olayomi Koiki, Kojo D, Felix, Mr. Kofi Ali Abdul Yakin, HRH Linda Palian, all the way in Cyprus. I salute each and every one of you, and thank you very much to to all our wonderful listeners across the globe for your support during these difficult times for me and my family as well. But I much appreciate everything and every message, condolences that have been sent to me. I really appreciate that. And on behalf of my family, I say a massive thank you to you. And as I say all the time, life do happen to each and every one of us. But some way, somehow, when you have life, there is hope. And so we keep on plodding on. Let me borrow the words of my brother Felix all the way in Aberdeen. And on that note, once again, say welcome to the program. Today is Monday, the 25th day of April, the year 2022. The time now 10:41 from the hearts of London. And for the sake of those who have just tuned in for the first time on Starr Radio UK, I'll be bringing a rundown of how the program goes or is going to go. But I will beg you to share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones. I beseech you, brethren, by the mercies of God, share this broadcast with your friends and loved ones. Keep them well informed. Let me say good morning to my able producer, Mr. Francis Guy. And as I say, all the wonderful listeners that we have across the globe. There are times when you feel like, oh, you are all by yourself, but then you find out that, hey, there are lots of people who are behind you, sending you messages and stuff like that. It's so wonderful. And I see this as a family, and I thank each and every one of you for your support once again. Okay, as I said earlier on, for the sake of those who have just joined in for the first time listening to us on Starr Radio UK, I'm going to bring you the quote for the day. The weather forecast is going to follow suit, then the travel update as well. We'll move on to other stories making the rounds, known as Global Trotting. Then at 11 o'clock, we'll be bringing you Mr. Olayomi Koiki in our North London studios. We'll be bringing you updates from Nigeria. From thence, we go on to have a look at some of the stories making the rounds across the globe. From archaeology to zoology, from Accra to Zanzibar, we'll be bringing them your way if it's making the headlines. Why not? 2 months on after the invasion or the war in Ukraine, what more? That's Putin what? Macron win a second term of election, the first in 20 years. In France, for a sitting president to win a second term. So this and a lot more going to be coming your way. Exactly at 12:30, we'll cross over to Cyprus, where we'll be having some time with the one and only Linda Pallion. But then at 12 o'clock, the lines will be open for you to add your voice to the discussion. So wherever you are, stay glued to your sets. Don't touch the dial. Share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones. I am the one and only.
This is the morning show with Archie.
Thank you. Buckle up and let's go. Now the quote for the day says, life would be easy on you and for you if you work hard on yourself, especially on your weakness. Life will be easy for you and on you if you work on yourself, especially your weakness. I know my weakness, you know your weakness. Let's all work on it, and I can tell you assuredly that life will be easy for us. That is just by way of the quote for the day. And let's move on straight to the weather front. I woke up this morning looking through the windows and I thought, okay, it's going to be a good day. I listened to the weather forecast and I was like, But let me tell you more about what is going to happen. This afternoon there will be plenty of patchy cloud and a few scattered showers. However, this should drift to the west as the afternoon progresses, with sunshine developing from the east. My apologies. Now tonight will be dry and any cloud will clear to leave behind clear skies throughout the night. A rather chilly night with a gentle northeasterly breeze. Top temperature is going to be 15 degrees. The lower is going to be 4 degrees. Pollen level is going to be high. UV level is going to be moderate. Pollution is going to be low. Sunset 2013 and sunrise for tomorrow morning 45 hours. And that brings us to the end of the weather forecast for you. Let's move on straight to the travels. After this short break, a commercial break, of course, and then don't you worry about our music. I'm going to make sure you enjoy the full realm of that song. Stay tuned.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Check it out. Keep your eyes on the road.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Okay, so keep your eyes on the roads, keep your eyes on the roads. So keeping updated, I promise I'm on the Starr Radio UK travel update that comes to where every weekday from 10:40. It's now 10:46. So what is your travels like? You want to share with us? Whether you're in Nigeria, whether you're in South Africa, wherever you find yourself, you want to share with us? We have got a worldwide listenership, and therefore we'll be able to share it with them. Let me say morning to our Ukrainian listeners, those are our Russian listeners as well. Okay, so on the underground this morning, Central Line has got minor delays. Let me bring you some minor delays due to train cancellations. The District Line has also got minor delays between Barking and Upminster due to an earlier power supply problem and earlier faulty train as well. Good service on the rest of the line. But keep your eyes on the roads. Keep your eyes on the roads. Hammersmith and City Lines have also got severe delays due to an earlier power supply problem. London Underground tickets will be accepted on C2C and local buses as well. On the Metropolitan Line as well, a 30-minute service is in operation between Baker Street and Amersham Chesham. A 15-minute service is on operation between Baker Street and Watford and between Aldgate and Oxbridge. But keep your eyes on the roads, keep your eyes on the roads. I will keep you navigated, I promise, our bond. Now on the Northern Line, as you know, until mid-May, there are some restrictions there, so check before you leave, or plat closures there. So that aside, all the others have got good service. London Overground, TFL Rail, DLR, London Tramlink, good service there. Now moving on straight to the Riverbars this morning, I can tell you shortly, apart from the Woolwich Ferry that's got a reduced service, all the others have got good service. But keep your eyes on the roads, keep your eyes on the roads. I'll keep you navigated, I promise, our board. Now on the major roads in London, the A roads, now A13 has got closures, A23 closures, A24 closures, A4 closures, Central London Red Routes closures there as well. Then A21 has got serious delays. Please check before you leave. Now moving on to the final segment of the travel updates. That is on the National Rail as well. On the National Rail this morning, First Transpennine Express has got special service, Island Line minor delays, Northern Rail minor delays, and Thameslink has also got special service. And that is where I say once again, well. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth. Enjoy your commute for today, but you know what? Continue to keep those eyes on the road.
PR Interventions amplifies yours. Organized products and categories for easy access and navigation. Access to global community, especially within UK and Europe. Welcome to Gabby Dave Global. We are a UK-based online e-commerce store, the first of its kind with license to trade in African products. Some of the products are clothing brands and all beauty accessories, hair and beauty brands, natural aphrodisiacs, processed and dried unprocessed food. Our mission at Gabby Dave is to connect African and Caribbean businesses to customers globally. At Gabby Dave, we ensure our sellers get the best deal for their products. We are not just here to help you reach a wider audience. We are also a distribution center to support business growth by fulfilling orders to your customers from our warehouse, making sure customers receive their products on time. We are inviting all Black-owned businesses to trade on our platform because we strongly believe Africans have a unique brand the customer would appreciate globally. So get in touch today and let us make your product and business go far. Here are some of the benefits of using Gabby Dave Global. User-friendly platform, track your shipment, online support, transparent process, multiple SKUs, multiple products, a platform that encourages manufacturers as well as traders. Our marketing and PR interventions amplifies yours. Organized products and categories for easy access and navigation. Access to global community, especially within UK and Europe.
BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Welcome back to the program in Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to exactly 10:52. That is 8 minutes to the top of the hour. And let me bring you the global trotting. All right then. So what is happening from across the globe? That is now time for that. So let's quickly go on to look at some of the events making the rounds across the across the globe. Okay, so first and foremost, when we go to when we get to Nigeria, these are some of the stories we're going to be looking at. An explosion at illegal refinery in southern Nigeria has killed over 100. And then rates in central Nigeria, 4,800 villages have already fled their villages. And then at least 28 persons drowned after boat capsized on a river. And Europe turns to Nigeria to fill the gap in gas supply. Those are some of the stories making the rounds there. But as I told you, we'll be having Mr. Olayomi Koiki when he joins in to bring you more on that front. And the LEA arrests drug baron behind 3 billion naira, 3 billion naira tramadol linked to Abakairi. Now, what is going on? And top Boko Haram commander Mohammed Rajil is being killed. How true is that? We know they always come out with something. Oh, that one has been killed. That one has been killed. And then the next moment, we find out that that one who has been killed has resurrected one way or the other. And it's making the rounds across the globe. But hey, this is the story that's making the rounds. And I'll be bringing you more on it. So stay tuned and don't you go away. Now, when it comes to other stories on the African continent as well, Mwai Kibaki, former Kenyan president who died aged 90. Yes, former president of Kenya has also died. I know sometime last week you had some sneak views from there. Mr. Frank Davis brought your way. Now, former Guinean leader Alpha Conde set free by the military junta. Now, some of the stories making the rounds as well. Well, so do you see a bit of woo-woo? The ECOWAS now think, okay, it's about time we ease the restrictions on them. As some of us have already said, now, whatever the restrictions were or are, we don't think it's going to be having an impact. We don't know directly what, unless, of course, they are talking about the fact that maybe the ports that they use in the southern bits, that when we talk about Ghana and all those bits to get their goods, Nigeria and all those bits to get their goods into that part of the world, that could be impacted. However, if they decide to be flying stuff in, they could fly anything in, which is possible as well. But what do you think about all that? Well, we'll bring you more on that front. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, in Ghana, some of the stories that is making the rounds. Akufo-Addo spent 33 billion Ghanaian cedis COVID-19 cash to win 2020 polls. That's what Mahama is saying. Is that why when they are asking for accounts or yes, how they dispersed or they dispersed that money, government is a bit cagey about what is exactly or what exactly took place? Is that why they are doing that? Well. We know that this is a part of the world where people can cook figures. So is that what is happening? I don't know, but we'll bring you more on that front. It's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. As I say, share the program with your friends and loved ones. Okay, let's continue with some of the stories making the rounds. Interestingly, gender diversity is essential to driving digital innovation in Africa. It's been said by the boss lady of Vodafone in Ghana, Patricia Obonai. But how true is that? How true is that? When it comes to the digital world, I mean, everybody has a chance. Do you think that in that part of the world, there are, the female gender are being marginalized, and therefore they are not given the opportunity to also come out with what they know or what they can do? I think that's one of the fields where everybody has a chance. So far, it's got a head to do where you can just go on. But what do you think? I want to know what you think about that. It's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. 4 minutes to the top of the hour. Let me bring you a couple of the stories that is making the rounds. In other parts of the world, Macron defeats Le Pen and vows to unite France. He triumphs over his far-right rival and becomes the first president to win a re-election in 20 years. Now, can he actually unite France? Because especially when we're looking at the issue where some people are against the EU and policies of the EU. They want like France to be France and dictate its own pace. But do you think that is going to be happening there? It is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, one final story. Sexual offense victims face record court wait. Now, recent Crown Court cases have taken an average of 9 months to complete. That's a story that is making the rounds here. The Prime Minister messages Angela Rayner over misogyny claims. The minister says any MP who made claims about Labour's deputy leader may face serious consequences. Well, they think that the deputy leader of Labour, yes, Angela Rayner, has been crossing her legs during Prime Minister's question time, and therefore distracting the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister has to be on the ball, not looking at somebody crossing their legs or whatever. I mean, I say that the Prime Minister is that shallow-minded or what? So that weak to that extent? Oh yeah. Okay, well, we'll be looking at all those stories once we come back. But for now, enjoy this music whilst we get Mr. Olayomi getting ready to bring you updates from Nigeria. Uncertainty trails Jonathan's candidacy in APC. Is Jonathan trying to run again? And Kaduna bandits abduct lecturer daughter and demand 100 million naira and a lot more going to be coming your way. But enjoy this song from Stella Dugan. If you're going through what I'm going through, well, I think that is a very good music for you. Enjoy it, and I'll be with you. Stay tuned and don't you go away.
Yes, my baby.
Yeah, something from Stella Dugan. He says, lead me, guide me, because you are my helper. And wherever you are this morning, I know God is your helper. So once again, welcome to the program. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Bringing the time now to 5 minutes past the top of the hour. The Monday edition of the morning show. Let's take a commercial break, and once we come back, we'll be having Miss Olayomi joining in. Stay tuned and don't you go away.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Check me out.
He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of the darkness. Of darkness.
So what did that?
Myself and the world will adjust. And 2019.
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on the CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Starr Radio.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy. Welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Bringing the time now to 9 minutes past the top of the hour. I think we have Mr. Olayomi Koiki. I don't know whether his video is frozen or... Let's see. Yomi, good morning to you. Okay, I think he's still getting himself together there. So let's still wait for him. But as I said, some of the stories that is put across that we're going to be looking at this morning is quite an interesting one. It's quite an interesting one there. The blast that took place that has happened in Imo, security agents beginning to search for illegal refineries. So can there be illegal refineries that have not got? So how are they doing that? How are they operating that? It's quite an interesting turn of events there. But let's see. Okay, Mr. Olayomi Koike is getting himself ready, and once we have him, he'll be looking into that. And then uncertainty trails Jonathan's candidacy. Does Jonathan want to go for a second term? That is some questions that others are asking. But what is your take? Let me say a special good morning to Amayo Ajerogene. Amayo, I hope you are doing very, very, very well. And thank you once again for tuning in to listen to us. 10 minutes past 11 the time. Starr Radio UK, Mr. Olayomi Koike. Yomi, you've not gotten your glasses, so please get your glasses. Have you got your reading glasses yet? Yeah, I want to make sure that it's all set for you. So he's getting his reading glasses. Yes, he's on now. And let me say a massive good morning to you, Mr. Olayomi Koike.
Well, it is a very good morning to you back here in North London. Sorry for the slight delay, and I hope you can hear me loud and clear back in the studio.
Yes, loud and clear. How are you doing, sir?
Well, very good, and it's good to be back again with all our listeners and viewers from around the globe. And we say good morning to the 25th of April 2022, and we welcome you again to Starr Radio UK Morning Show.
Yes, let me first of all ask how your weekend was.
The weekend was a very long one. We had a very beautiful one, but as we were just hoping that as weekend we go, again the breaking news of one of the most oldest monarch in the Yoruba land died, and it was a very sad one because quite a lot of us that have known this particular individual for a very long time, he's been there for, like I said, more than 5 decades. He's just celebrated his 50 years anniversary on the throne, but unfortunately he passed on over the weekend. I'll be giving all the details, but apart from that, the weekend was very busy, tight schedule with quite a lot of activities as well. But the most important thing is we are back again on Starr Radio UK. It is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Yes, listeners, Mr. Olayomi Koike in our North London studios. I'm Archie here in the South studios, and we are bringing you updates from Nigeria. Now, let's quickly just crack on. Now, when it comes to this explosion that has taken place in Imo State, where they said it's due to illegal operation of refineries. Now, how many illegal refineries do they have in Nigeria? I mean, let's say from the top of your head, is it I mean, quite call it a norm available wherever you go? Do we seem to have something of the sort happening?
Well, it's not the first time that we've seen illegal refinery across Nigeria, but the one that occurred this weekend, where literally over 100 people were killed, went around the globe. It was reported almost, all the news outlets around the globe. What is the cause and the reason for, illegal refinery that we probably call illegal bunker in the first place? It is because of the negligence of a country for 61 years, where crude oil has been found in so many, community. Even sometimes we've seen people that have literally just one way or the other realize that they have these dark oil coming out from their backyard. They've literally concealed it, and they were literally taking it out slowly and we're selling it in the black market. And the whole reason is because of the poverty, the ignorant, the not understanding, the consequence of trying to tap into these kind of resources that could also create havoc, to millions of people and lives. It's just the same thing. Last week we saw a petrol tank with about 44,000 liters of PMS, known as petrol, driving through Lagos Ibadan Expressway. There was a fall on the tank. People were trying to scoop it, not minding the consequence, the danger of that, and eventually led to, explosion that led to the death. These illegal bunkering are all happening mostly in the southeast of Nigeria, but likewise, like I said, we've seen people that have been able to tap into that. In Lagos State, there was an explosion in Lagos a couple of times, last year, that led to death of people, innocent lives. But at least 100 persons were feared dead as fire raised an illegal crude oil refinery site at Aba's Forest in Hoji Bame local government area of Imo State.
Wow, that's quite a very, very sad story there. But Amayo has said that from reliable sources reveals, okay, that is, we'll come to that one, but let me read this one. Illegal refineries are owned by the influentials in Nigeria. How true is that?
Well, illegal refinery it has always been, it is, like I said, it is not allowed. But like I said, what are the reasons is what we should also ask, that an individual or groups of people will want to steal something that should have been available for everybody if it was being used judiciary for the people in the first place. And that also goes back to the so many reasons why those that are now asking, I was listening to a senior advocate of Nigeria, talking about, we should be going for interim government, where, the constitution has not been the will of the people. And the question again is, has the will of the people been justified in Nigeria for the last 61 years that could lead to illegal bunkering across the country?
Well, listeners, a sad one there, but it's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. We're bringing you a lot more from that as the story goes on. But security agents are beginning to search for the illegal refineries in those areas. A quick one from there again once. Now, you know that the lands where this oil, this crude oil are being refined, or whatever that they have, they could be lands that belong to individuals. Okay, but if you look at the way government is treating inhabitants of these areas where they are thinking that you are destroying our lands, or you are using or siphoning the oil and everything from those lands that belong to us that we could have used for farming or etc., but we are not earning or getting enough there, don't you know that is what is causing them to go on that path?
Well, it's just, again, like we've said, why could anyone want to have an illegal refinery operating, when, it could have been a benefit to everybody in the first instance? Let's go back to Ken Saro-Wiwa. We all remember Ken Saro-Wiwa, was an environmental activist that was eventually killed, by the late Sani Abacha, the dictator himself. Ken Saro-Wiwa was born on the 10th of October 1944 in Bori, in Nigeria. He died on the 10th of November 1995 in Port Harcourt. What was the reason why? Ken Saro-Wiwa was a member of the Ogoni people, an ethnic minority in Nigeria, whose homeland, Ogoni in Niger Delta, which has been targeted for the crude oil. And that led to, a lot of, activities where it was eventually, there wasn't any conviction. It was crying for the total environmental damage in their community, and yet the government refused, to do the needful. The government refused to put the structure in place, and eventually led to, the loss of lives of, Ken Saro-Wiwa himself. And let's fast forward. Ken Saro-Wiwa, like I said, died in 1995. That is almost, about almost 3 decades ago. Nothing has literally changed in those communities where the refinery are found. If a refinery is found on your land, because it has to be there, because of the natural resources, then the government also needs to compensate. That also takes us to, the NDDC that we've talked about. The NDDC in Nigeria, that is also meant to be, a kind of a board, that was set up to offer a lasting solution to the social economic difficulty of the Niger Delta region. But as we know, it is all the illusion and the mirage that millions of Nigerians are waiting for. And you ask yourself, after 6 decades of an independent today, 6th largest crude oil producer, Nigeria still remain the capital poverty of the world.
Well, listeners,
if you just give me maybe 30 seconds, it looks like our audio transmission might probably not be getting an audio, but I'm not sure. Let me just check it properly.
Okay, whilst Mr. Olayomi Koiki fixes that. Now, what do you think about that? 30 years on after the death of Ken Saro-Wiwa and the formation...
that are probably not picking it. There's audio on it. Yeah.
Okay. Ken Saro-Wiwa, the death of the death of Ken Saro-Wiwa and everything that has gone on, the cries of people in the Delta area. Do you think the right thing has been done, or right measures have been put in place? Because we want to go for another election. People are saying that, well, when it comes to the constitution, it's absolutely a military resolution of the sort, and therefore they think that it's not something that they will have to go for election based on that. Some are calling for it to be rewritten. But what do you think about all that? But Amayo says, from reliable source reveals that the northern cabals are planning to fail Jonathan to win 2023 election, complete 4 years, then the Fulani will take over from 2027 for another 8 years. Now, information coming through earlier on from Yomi was saying that the 2023 uncertainty trails Jonathan's candidacy in APC. What is all that about, sir?
Well, over the weekend, we saw, youths, visiting, the office, not over the weekend, I guess it was just about, weekend when the youths, all went rally around, to ask, the former president, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, to come back, and become, the president. So he hasn't declared yet. He hasn't made any intention yet, but there is a lot of, maybe evidence that at some point he might. On what political party we know currently is a member of the PDP. He hasn't made any intention to cross over, but for now, there is consultation, the former president Goodluck Jonathan and some members of the APC for Jonathan to emerge as the presidential candidate has been rejected already by support groups working for some other presidential aspirant. Groups loyal to presidential aspirants of the APC national leader and the former governor Asiwaju Bola Tinubu and the vice president that are already indicate that they want to be the president. Should Jonathan then be joining APC, there will be a lot of pressure for those, and that is why it has been gathered that as well, those who were behind the plot are some members of the National Working Committee of the party fear it might not sail through. So we'll have to wait and see what decision comes out of Jonathan declaration or not. It's just a matter of time, because as we know, I think the primaries for the APC will be coming up next month. That means he only has less than 4 weeks to determine whether he will be crossing over to APC or he will be contesting under PDP, where we have a lot of candidates under that PDP. Atiku is already put indication, so as many others that are already saying they want to become the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria come 2023.
But when we look at the record of Jonathan, what do you think is his chances? Do they prefer him? Maybe he didn't get things right in his first term, okay? But maybe he's likable, and people think that maybe he's got something else that Buhari might not have, or it will cut across the whole nation. Do you think that is what they are looking at the moment?
Well, yes, Jonathan has his own opportunity. It was a governor that, it was a deputy governor that led to being a governor, and then he was brought in, to become, the vice, and then end up becoming, the president himself. We could say he was one out of so many Nigerians that have been so lucky, to be in that position. What is his eye mark, for being that opportunity while he was there. During his time, there was a lot of misappropriation of money, just as we have it right now in this present government. Do we see him coming back? That is also subject to those that are also saying that we will not go into any election should anything happen, because of a lot of issues that is on the ground. So as it is right now, yes, there are a lot of individuals, Nigerians, that would prefer to have him back, just as there are other Nigerians that prefer other candidates, just as other Nigerians that are now saying, are we really Nigerians? We were a kingdom before the amalgamation, and it is time now to de-amalgamate.
Well, listeners, it's Starr Radio UK. Updates from Nigeria with Mr. Olayomi Koike. Wherever you are, share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones. Before we go back to Yomi, now, some conspiracy theories are of the view, which Amayo is trying to put across, saying that either Jonathan is fielded in APC or PDP, they will make sure he wins for Fulani to come back in 2027. And it goes on further to say Nigerian political system is structured for the few, not the many. Nigeria operates feudalism. It's not just federalism. It's a feudalism, not federalism. And that is a system of government in which the same territory is controlled by two levels of government, state and national government. It devolved legal, economic, and military powers to the state. That is in America. But when it comes to feudalism was a system in which people were given land and protection by people of higher rank, that's presidency, and work and fought for them in return. It centralized legal, economic, and military, the center to the center. With this, what system does Nigeria actually practice? It looks like it's not federalism, it's feudalism. What do you think about that? Let's go back to Yomi for some of the other stories making the rounds. Over to you, Yomi.
Well, like I said, quite a lot is happening. And yes, we haven't got a lot of time this morning, but we will touch on so many of those news, that occurred over the weekend. I'm just literally trying to see if we can bring in, the background of the royal family. I mean, one of our monarchs that died over the weekend, but it seems that is not coming up. We'll probably see if we can still bring that while we continue with the update this morning. Let's go straight to it. Oba Lamidi Adeyemi, things to know about boxers who became the longest reign Alaafin. As we know, he died over the weekend. The Alaafin of Oyo, Oba Lamidi Adeyemi, passed on at the age of 83 years old on Friday night, stroke Saturday morning. The king died at Afe Babalola University Teaching Hospital in Ado-Ekiti. It's going to be a lot of happenings as well in Ado-Ekiti because the court case for the constitution will be held at that particular part in Ado-Ekiti on the 28th in about 3 days. He ruled for 52 years before his diminished, making him the longest reign Alaafin, in the country. As we know, Alaafin Adeyemi was born Lamidi Olaiwola Atonda Adeyemi on October 15, 1938, into the Alowodu royal house of the famous Oyo town. In his younger age, Alaafin was a lover of boxing. The monarch was a boxer but had to retire due to his coronation. He became the Alaafin of Oyo on the November 18, 1917, succeeding Oba Gbade Geshin Ladigbolu I during the governorship of the Colonel Robert Adeyinka Adebayo. Just after the Civil War, he was popularly known as Iku Babayeye, and we say may so rest in perfect peace. We go straight to some of the other headlines coming out of Nigeria this morning. Kaduna bandits adopted a lecturer and a daughter, and they're now demanding 100 million naira. Again, part of the other headline, why police commission may withhold Magu's retirement benefit, is coming from the headline as well. Lagos traders protest over 600 million naira loss to Ponzi scheme. Quite a lot of that does happen, and you wonder how gullible some are still falling to some of these Ponzi that have created a lot of problem for a lot of people. OAU student court goes into short adjournment over defendant ill health. Just in as well, NDLA arrests drug baron behind a $3 billion tramadol linked to Abba Kairi's team. I'm going to come back again to you in the studio because of time constraint. It's exactly 11:29, but these are some of the headlines coming out of Nigeria at this particular hour today, the 25th of April, 2022, at exactly 11:29. Star Radio UK, it is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Yes, listeners, the morning show update from Nigeria with Mr. Olayomi Koike. I'm Archie in our South London studios. Now, let's say our condolences to the family of the Obalamide Alafi of Oyo, the late. May his soul rest in perfect peace. Let me say good morning also to Anthony Adedeji. Okay, now let's quickly move on to the Ponzi scheme that you were talking about. Just a quick one from the. What kind of schemes have they been involved in?
Well, let's take a look at that particular story. That's about 600 million naira has been lost, to a lot of Nigerians. A businesswoman, Chinere Emeka, has been accused of defrauding traders and market women of over 600 million naira in Lagos. The women use a company, Family Food Support Association, to gather unsuspecting members of the public, including petty traders, to part away with 9,000 naira every month to get a higher return for their investment. The victims were said to have been promised a return of 200,000 naira to 90,000 worth of foodstuff after 9 months of investment in the association scheme. However, for proper coordination, the businesswoman reportedly created about 39 groups headed by independent leader under the association. People from different parts of the country who invested in the scheme were reportedly divided into the group. Things, however, took another turn when Emeka Ato started defaulting in payment of the promised money, donation of food items to those who invest in the scheme. The situation was said to have created uproar as some of the aggrieved victims reported the matter to the police before Emeka was.
Well, listeners, quite a sad one there. People losing their monies. I mean, scarce resources that they don't have and still losing it. But well, as Olayomi said, don't be that gullible and fall into such pranks. Let me put it that way. A pyramid scheme of a sort. Well, when it's too true to be true, check it out. All right, then. It is Star Radio UK. Any other stories making the round before we go to the social media platform? Over to you, sir.
Once again, a very good morning to those of you that are watching us from all over the world this morning as we continue, to say this is Star Radio UK. It is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. And again, let's go straight, to the social media this morning to take a look at some of the news that is trending this particular morning on Nigeria, as we can say. Once again, if you like to follow us on Star Radio, you can go to our, social media handles. You can also follow us on all our handles across the globe as well. And as we can say, the picture of our king that died in the Yoruba land is the one that we've just been able, to put behind us there. Like we say, may his gentle soul rest in perfect peace, and the family that he left behind, may they also continue, to be remembered for a very, very long time. So we're going to leave that picture for the benefit of those that were probably listening to us earlier, or they were unable to get they were unable to know who exactly this particular royal family or the king that we were talking about. So let me go straight to what is happening on the social media this morning. Quite a lot is happening. Let's go straight to this particular one. Again, coming from Simon Ekpa at Simon_Ekpa. Those persuading our Eastern Security Network to drop their aims so that Fulani terrorists will overrun our land like they are overrunning other parts of Nigeria are wasting their time. They have come to stay until Biafra is liberated from Nigeria. Let's take a little bit more. Neferati, there is no denying, and that is at first ladyship, there is no denying the fact that Peter Obi is the new poster child of politics in Nigeria, at least in the PDP and in the South. Is raising an army of woke up young Nigerians who desire true change. It will be unwise for PDP to ignore its new political force. The dynamics have changed. Also, there's a particular wildlife animal. You wonder whether it's been fed very well, according to at Mazi_Ogbonoya. I visited a wildlife in Jos where I saw these lions. They were tired to roar, and at least I can fight two of them and win. Nigeria happened to everything, including the lion in the zoo. The system has humbled the strong lion. I'll see if we can get the image of this lion while we just touch on the last part of this broadcast. Once again, if you're joining us, we say welcome to Starr Radio UK. So we go straight to Ilana Omo Oodua. Ilana Omo Oodua is the movement for the Yoruba self-determination. And at this particular week, they will be testing one of their court case that's coming up in Ado-Ekiti in Ekiti State, southwest of Nigeria. And that is the lion that we're talking about. Let's see if we can just get it a little bit position so that those of you that are watching us, will realize that when people say something happened to them, or may Nigeria never happened to you, it looks like these lions, Nigeria has already happened to them, and we hope they will have enough energy to roar, as you might expect a lion to be. So that is the image, and I'm sure if this was in Europe, a lot of animal rights activists will probably be out there, discussing this kind of conversation. So this happened to this lion in one of the zoo back in Nigeria. Once again, let's quickly come back to the final update from Ilana Omo Oodua. Like I said, this particular week is a very busy week, but they added to it where there is a again this image of a a carrier bag, as you might want to call it, with Osibajo 2023 on it. Is two of them. No, it's actually one, but the picture was taken in two different dimensions. The first dimension, again, let's see if we can get that image up quickly for the benefit of those that are watching us. The first image had the beautiful image of Osibajo in front of him, and the other one had a bit of cash inside it. And the question a lot of Nigerians on that particular tweet said, and I quote while I get the picture up, it says a pastor and a vice president, Professor Yemi Osibajo campaign team invited some political hallelujah to an event today. This was on the 22nd, shared 250,000 naira per delegate in attendance. This is one of the characteristics claiming the way they want to change Nigeria, reject these rogues and take over your nation. So let's just get those images up for the benefit of our listeners that are probably watching us as we speak. So the first image is exactly what you're looking behind, that have the logo of the vice president right behind me there, where it's a campaign carrier bag, but right there inside that there is what we can call a kind of 250 naira, 1,000 naira that has become a donation. And let's go and give you the second image. Then we will be able to expand that with our technical team that are working very fast on this particular broadcast this morning. So if you look right behind me, Mr. Archie, you will literally be seeing that there is a kind of money inside that, and I'm sure you can say it properly as well. So that again is 250,000 naira that is being shared among the political party that we know as, again, Osibajo 23 on top of it, but inside it is not a souvenir, it's 250,000 naira. So the next one, before we come back again to you in the studio at exactly 11:38, like I said, again, 28th of April is where the court case will be coming up, where the 1999 constitution that has become a talking conversation to a lot of people, including the senior advocate of Nigeria, Afe Babalola, that was saying yes, there is a problem with the constitution, but he rather wants an interim government as well. Also, there's a lot of billboard of the Yoruba nation that is already being put across the Yoruba land in those that are saying they want a self-determination, which is a peaceful movement, just as those that are asking for that from the Biafra as well. So again, we give you the last image before we say coming back again to you in the studio. So that image has now flooded almost every part of Yoruba land. And as you can see behind me, this is now the billboard that is being put across most part of Yoruba land high road or the highway, like you might want to call it, that says the Yoruba, and what it reads on top of it says Ile Olominira, Ile Yoruba, Yoruba Nation. And that is the message that is Yoruba Nation now. That is some of the billboard that has been put across to almost every part of the highway in Nigeria, as a lot of people are saying. And we're going to give, I think about almost 200 and something days before the election or no election. But before we come back to you, we say, this is Starr Radio UK. If you're sending money home to your loved ones, remember to use SendWaves, where you can be able to get the money across to your loved ones in any part of Africa. My name is Olayomi. I'm going to come back again to you in the studio for the final part before we start winding down because of time constraint this morning.
Well, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. Those of you who heard a police siren in the background, don't worry, it's not the police coming after Olayomi. It's my own producer there in the studio who is trying to test, make sure that everything is taken along nicely. Okay, Amayo says that scammers everywhere, government scamming citizens scamming citizens. Who is the master scammer? And it says 1999 constitution is a scam, 1914 amalgamation is a scam. In fact, scam exists in every government parastatal in Nigeria. And then he finally says pastor scammers, alpha scammers, traditionalist scammers, government master scammers. So everybody's a scammer. But my question is now, my statement or my advice is, if they are giving you all this money, yes, like what they've given in the nice bag, campaign bag, you take it. Okay, yes, it's your money. You take it. But when it comes to the time of voting, vote against them. You vote against them. Next time they won't do that. But our people, some of them are not. They will think that, we have to take it and then make sure that we do so. Well, somebody say that is morality. But when you talk about morality, then you don't have to accept that. But it's all Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Before we run up, the lions. That's quite an interesting one. Are there animal rights or has government, the zoos in Nigeria? Is there the department that looks into that? Are they actually in operation in Nigeria?
Well, it would have been nice if they were in operation. I'm sure more Nigerians are more skinner than these, so they will be more concerned about themselves before they can even be talking about the right of the lion that we can see in this image in a Jos museum somewhere in the up north of Nigeria. Again, it's not the first time we've seen such an image. The question is Nigerian really okay with a lot of people, not to talk about the animals itself? And why could we have such a powerful, strong king of the forest in this position is a question mark. That is the same thing happening to millions of Nigerians as we speak today.
Well, somebody will ask whether they are ill or they are hungry, whichever it is. They don't have people are looking at how to fend for themselves. Talk less animals. That's what they would say there. Now the final one on the Olamo Odua signs and those things that are in place. Listeners, just bear with us. We are running up pretty soon. What has the government so far? I mean, they've released Sunday Igboho, and then so what has government said about it? Because you cannot just go erecting billboards everywhere, having a statement there on it, or so there could be government looking at no, we have to pull it down or something. What has been the reaction of government pertaining to that?
Well, so far we've not heard or seen whether those billboard has been pulled down. But yes, you might be expecting such to occur because definitely not all the government are pleased with what is currently happening. As we speak right now, the Osun State governor is already making his own case against the 1999 constitution that will be happening in his doorstep, because he wants to contest for the second term. And if we say there's not going to be election and there's going to be a court case, that court case must be heard before the election can even go through at all. So yes, we still have a lot of the Yoruba politicians that still believe that we can still continue with one Nigeria. But again, the others are saying it is time to hang the boots, because we were a kingdom before the British Empire came in for the 400 years of the slave trade and then amalgamate Nigeria. A lot of people are now saying, let us de-amalgamate peacefully, but I'm not sure it's going to be peaceful, because there's still a lot of row. Just as the leader of the Afenifere, say we played that last week, says should there be no change of this constitution, there will be chaos. He was asked, what about those that are asking for self-determination? He did say, and I quote, I do not disagree with them, and I do not agree with them. He said they are secessionists. If you don't deal with this constitution, there will be secessionists.
Okay, so are they going to deal with the constitution or not? That is the question that's been asked. But Amayo says that Yoruba sovereign nation now, and budget for the zoo are being siphoned by scammers. I remember back back long time ago when I visited Nigeria. I went to I was taken to Ibadan after in Lagos for a few days, and then we visited Ibadan, and then I remember going to the Ibadan zoo, and I looked at it. I really loved it. I looked at the animals, the lions and stuff. But if you look at what is going on now, you look at what is happening in this state where lions are as hungry as whatever it is, then you ask yourself the question, which way Nigeria? Yomi, before you go.
Well, I'm just going to take 2 or 3 more comments from this part. Mrs. Comfort says, government cannot look after the citizens, talk less of the animals. Mr. Aziz Badeshe, all the way from Florida, says Yoruba Kingdom now. Mr. Olatunja Officer says, forget about the vice president. It will soon drop out of the presidential race. He also said, according to our king that died, I hope Ifa will pick the right man as the new Alaafin of Oyo. We don't want a government of appointment. We say good morning to everyone that have joined us so far, and we say, from this note, I'll be coming back again same time tomorrow. But make sure you stay tuned because you still have Mr. Archie and the rest of the team. Linda, that will be coming all the way from Cyprus to give us all the latest news and updates. But from me, I'll be back again with more news and update about Nigeria tomorrow at exactly 11 o'clock. Bye for now.
Bye. Let me say thank you very much to Mr. Olayomi Koiki. It is Starr Radio UK. Before we take the music, Shamsuddin Oladipupo, okay, says Yoruba Nation, we want a Yoruba Nation, we want Yoruba Nation now. They say they want Yoruba Nation now. And to every one of you who tuned in this morning to listen to us, we want to say thank you very much. Don't you go away. Enjoy this music, and I'll be bringing you other stories making the rounds from across the globe. Stay tuned.
Which way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh yeah. I want to know which way Nigeria is heading to. Many years after independence, we still find it hard to start. How long shall we be patient before we reach the promised land? Let's save Nigeria so Nigeria won't die. Which way Nigeria? Tell me which way to go. I love my fatherland. Oh yeah. I want to know. Yes, I want to know which way Nigeria is heading to. Every little thing that goes wrong, we start to blame the government. We know everything that goes wrong because we are part of the government. Let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria won't die. Which way Nigeria? Which way Nigeria? Tell me which way to go? Which way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh yeah. I want to know which way Nigeria is heading to. Inefficiency and indiscipline is ruining the country now. Corruption here, there and everywhere. Inflation is soaring high. Let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria won't die. Which way Nigeria? Which way Nigeria? Which way to go? Which way to go?
UK. This is Starr Radio UK.
Sure. I want to know. Yes, I want to know. Which way Nigeria?
You are listening to Starr Radio Morning Show.
We made mistakes during the oil boom, not knowing that was our doom. Some people now have everything, while many have nothing. Let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria will fall. Which way Nigeria?
Well, the question is this morning once again: can Nigeria actually bounce back from its where it finds itself at the moment? Hamid Olalikan says, "Yoruba nation now, no going back." He thinks that the animal has been. Let's just move on. But what do you think about all this? Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Once again, let me say thank you very much for joining in on the program.
So we can have enough food to show.
Sonny Okuson playing in the background. Which way in Nigeria? 200 plus days for the election 2023. Candidates from left, right, center. Some being planted, some being whatever thing that is going on there. But what do you think is going to happen? Well, this and a lot more we'll be looking at as the days unfold. We'll try to have some of the presidential aspirants on the show as well. But let me take the opportunity to say good morning to Saware.
He's running the country down. We all want to be millionaires and to live in the...
Okay, it's now time for us to take a quick break, and once we come back, I'll be bringing you some of the other stories making the rounds. Remember, at 12 o'clock exactly, I'll be opening the lines for you to join in the discussions. You feel free to call in, but remember, exactly at 12:30, we'll be crossing over to Cyprus, where HRH Linda Palian is all lined up to bring you Career 101. So wherever you are, stay tuned. Don't you go away. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Welcome back to the program Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now 8 minutes to the top of the hour, the morning show. Of course, today, the 25th day of April, the year 2022. So 2 months on after the invasion of Ukraine. What next? What more? That's the Putin want. Do you think that what the Western world are doing is also bruising his ego, and he thinks that no, I don't want my ego to be bruised for my country or my citizens to think that I am weak, and therefore that is pushing him to unleash his venom on the Ukrainians? What do you think? Sometime last week, a statement was coming through proved that he was looking at invading one of the other countries that was part of the former USSR, Moldova. Okay, so how true is that? Is he going to do that? For what? For what reason? Okay, so we're going to be looking into all those stories. But now, let's take some of the other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. Well, US want to see Russia weaken so much it can do things. It can't do the things it has done in invading Ukraine. US wants to see Russia weaken so much it can't do the things it has done in invading Ukraine. So that is a breaking news that is coming through at the moment. I will bring you more on that in a jiffy. But let's quickly move on to some of the other stories making the rounds on the African continent before we touch on some stories here. Like I said, in the next 6 minutes, I'll be opening the lines for you to add your voice to the discussions. Now, the Guinean ousted president, Alpha Conde, is finally free and can receive visitors. The junta who overthrew him has said. Now, Conde became Guinea's first democratically elected president in 2010, but the 84-year-old was deposed by army officers last year and replaced by Colonel Mamadi Doumbouya. He was allowed to go to the United Arab Emirates for medical treatment in January. Now, coming back to Guinea on April the 10th. Now, his party, Rally of the Guinea People, RPG, has said that he was not truly free before or after his trip and demands his total and unconditional freedom. To back up its call, the RPG suspended its participation at the junta's organized National Reconciliation Conference in protest at his detention. Now, it goes on further to say, a statement by the junta published late Friday said Doumbouya informs national and international opinion that the former president of the republic is finally free. Now, while continuing to benefit from adequate protection, he can receive on demand members of his biological and political families, friends and close ones, it said. Now, the statement said Conde will stay at his wife's house in the capital, Conakry, until his own private house is constructed in the suburb of Kipe. Now, the dignity and integrality of Professor Alpha Conde will always be preserved, the statement said. The coup follows fierce protests over Conde's successful bid for a third term in office, which critics said breached the constitution. Now, Doumbouya, who has been sworn in as interim president, has promised to restore civilian rule, but resisted international pressure to commit to a date. Well, he wants to see to it that the ground is ready or fertile for the elections to take place or the return to democracy. But what do you think? Well, he's been released. Okay, a bit of freedom there for him. Somebody said, what did he do to warrant an overthrow? And definitely it's because they said the protesters were saying that he's breached the constitution, were trying to go for a third term. Then somebody asked the question, what about Ivory Coast? What about Togo? What about all those countries that the leadership has actually found ways and means to breach the constitution to go that way? What about Uganda? So a lot more we're going to be looking at as the days and the weeks and the months unfold on the African continent. Well, do we see now that somehow because of the stance of the ECOWAS, so would seem to have actually stamped on the coup d'etat that seemed to rear its ugly head or seem to come back to that part of the continent? What do you think? It's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. And leaders of Egypt, Jordan and UAE meet to discuss Jerusalem tension. It's one of the stories making the rounds there as well. Now, in Ghana, Akufo-Addo spent 33 billion Ghana cedis COVID-19 cash to win 2020 polls. That's some of the stories making the rounds there. Now, former President John Mahama is alleging that President Akufo-Addo used 33 billion Ghana cedis windfall the government received from agencies in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic to win the 2020 election. In my country, in a quote, he said, our economy has emerged in extremely poor shape from the COVID experience. The ballooning deficit, double-digit inflation, the nose-diving currency, and increasing debt distress are some of the symptoms of a very ill economy. Now, Ghana's fate was easy to predict with the cavalier handling of the economy by the current administration. We went into pandemic without adequate buffers and have emerged with a terribly battered economy, Mr. Mahama disclosed in his address at the 24th African Business Conference organized by the Harvard Business School. He continued to make matters worse. The pandemic windfall of over 33 billion Ghana cedis, which could have cushioned the economy, remains unaudited and is believed to have been used largely in the quest to win the 2020 election at all costs. Now, Mr. Mahama also briefed the gathering on the data and impact of pandemic on the African continent. The data from the Economic Commission of Africa, EAC, show that COVID-19 created the continent's worst recession in 50 years, with real GDP shrinking by an average of 3% in 2020. Before the pandemic, poverty reduction was already a major challenge. The pandemic is estimated to have dragged about 55 million more people into poverty in Africa and exposed another 46 million more to the risks of hunger and malnourishment. Indeed, 70,000 of hunger in Africa, which had already been on the rise since 2014, is directly attributed to the pandemic. Now, like governments all over the world, it became necessary for Africa governments to take action to shield their population from the effects of the pandemic. This meant, in many cases, an increase in deficit due to unbudgeted expenditures. This has devastated many African economies and sunk them deeper into unsustainable debts and economic downturns. The pandemic has had a general deleterious effect on the economy of African nations, but some countries have ridden the wave more successfully than others due to the resilience of their economy, discipline, and prudent use of their resources or resource envelopes during the period of the crisis. So the question is, what has government used this 33 billion for? Did they use it for the election? Well, it's unaudited, so government doesn't want to come out, but definitely one way or the other, that is going to come out one day. Ilavi, have you met the Supreme Court already? Ablakwa to Mensa Bonsu. Now, injunction application against the e-levy exercise in futility, and that's what the majority is saying. But the foreign spokesperson for the opposition party, Ablakwa, the member of parliament for North Tongo, Samuel Kujato Ablakwa, has described as dangerous the majority leaders claim that their application to block the collection of e-levy on May 1 at the Supreme Court is an exercise in futility. So have they approached them, the Supreme Court, before the minority went in? The majority in parliament, in a press conference on Friday, downplayed the attempt by the three members of the minority to place an injunction on implementation of electronic transfer levy. The minority MPs have filed an application at the Supreme Court for an injunction on the implementation of the levy pending the hearing of their substantive case challenging constitutionality of passage of the e-levy. The majority leader, Oseiche Mensa Bonsu, who addressed the media, described the move by the NDC MPs as dangerous since they are internal parliamentary process they could have resorted to. Really? Well, we're going to be looking into all that as the days and the months unfold. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. So now let's move on to other parts of the world. It's now gone 2 minutes past the top of the hour. Let me announce the lines open as well. If you want to join in the conversation, feel free to call us on 0208-133-2257 or 58. 0208-133-2257 or 58. Or you can, if you're in the US or Canada, it's 001-7183-032737, 001-7183-032737. You can also text or WhatsApp us. It's 07539661744, 07539661744. Our Twitter handle is @Starr Radio UK and email address is info@starradiouk.com. gmail.com. All right, keep your dial still logged on Star Radio UK. Don't touch the dial. Let me say good morning to, or good afternoon now to Mr. Dan Tabiri, CEO of GIL Accountancy Services, our money man, and the family there as well. Now, on an international front, French election results, Macron defeats Le Pen and vows to unite, divide France. Now, Emmanuel Macron has won 5 more years as France president after convincing victory over rival Marine Le Pen, who nevertheless secured the far right's highest share of the vote. He won by 58.5% to 41.45%, a greater margin than expected. The centrist leader told jubilant supporters at the foot of the Eiffel Tower that now the election was over, he will be a president for all. He is the first sitting president in 20 years to be re-elected. Despite her loss, Ms. Le Pen, 53, said her significant vote share still marked a victory. Now, the ideas her national rally represented had reached now new heights, she told her supporters. But far-right rival Eric Zemmour pointed out that she had ultimately failed, just like her father who preceded her. Now, he goes on further to say it is the 8th time the Le Pen name has been hit by defeat. Marine Le Pen took over the party founded by her father Jean-Marie Le Pen in 2011 in a bid to make it electable. She won more than 30 million votes on Sunday on a platform of tax cuts to tackle the high cost of living, a ban on wearing the Muslim headscarf in public, and a referendum on immigration controls. An answer must be found to the anger and disagreement that led many of our compatriots to vote for the extreme right. Mr. Macron said in his victory speech, it will be my responsibility and that of those around me. But the question is, what can Macron actually do in this case? Because this is a case where we are looking at, call it a 41% of the French, who say we don't want the way that the government is leading us, or the path they are leading us. They are looking at the EU. They don't want to be, all the implementation when it comes to immigration and the fact that people can just move around and stuff like that. And they're looking at the Muslim headscarf or the headgear that they use, either the backup or whatever they call it. And so a few things that they are looking at, and they think that because of that, they don't want Macron, or they don't want the government in power to continue, and that's why they voted for Le Pen. But the question once again that you ask yourself is, can Macron actually bring them all together? By bringing them together, is he going to actually, what is he going to actually do? Is he going to take them out of the EU? Is he going to say that, okay, we're going to crack down on immigration? Or what actually is Macron going to do to actually unite their country, unite France? At the moment, we're looking at Macron as the champion of the EU, because it looks like the Germans are not actually cracking the whip the way they're supposed to, because the German chancellor seems he just came into office, and people are looking at all that and thinking that he's not flexed his muscles the way he's supposed to flex at the moment, and therefore people are not feeling his impact when it comes to the international stage, because we know that whilst our countries in Europe are looking at bypassing or snubbing Russia when it comes to the oil and the energy or the gas that they get from them, it looks like Germans have no choice, because if they decide to cut their nose to spite their faces, it's going to cost them. So it looks like Macron is the only one who can actually push the agenda of the EU through. But with what is happening, he said that, okay, you know what, I'm going to be the president for each and every one of you. What do you think he's going to be doing on that front? It's all Star Radio UK, 7 minutes past the top of the hour. We've got 23 minutes more before we go to the second part of the program, having a chat with the one and only HRH Linda Pallian, all the way in Cyprus. Stay tuned and don't you go away. Now, still on the world front, Slovenia votes out pro-Trump populist. Now, Janez Janša was defeated by the Freedom Movement, a new liberal party launched just 4 months ago. Now, are people back in trying to, lean on the right or middle or on the left. What exactly seems to be happening? Now, pro-Trump, that means that you can see that they are aligned to Russia. You get it? But that is what is happening there. Slovenia, well, they voted the pro-Trump president out of the place. So what is happening there? And as we were on, I brought you a breaking story that was making the rounds. The U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said that Russia is trying to brutalize parts of Ukraine by failing in its war aims. He was speaking after meeting President Zelensky in Kiev on Sunday. The highest level U.S. visit since Russia's invasion began. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, who also went to Kiev, said the U.S. wanted to see Russian military weakened. Now, 5 railway stations have come under attack in central and western Ukraine, according to the officials. Now, strikes reportedly hit Krasny near Lviv in the west, Zimryanka and Zostin, Kozistan in central Ukraine, with reports of casualties. Now, Russia says it will suspend attacks on the Azovstal steel plant in Mariupol at 12 hours UK time to allow civilians to leave. But people who escaped the city recently say that they were held in Russian-run processing centers that resemble concentration camps. So, what is the point of they trying to leave? Now, 2 months on, because I remember the invasion very well, or that war very well, because it landed exactly on my birthday. That was the 24th of February, so I remember it like yesterday. So 2 months on, today is the 25th of April. What more does Russia want to achieve? Now, do you think that the stance, as I did ask earlier on, the stance of the West pertaining to Putin trying to damage his ego, is rather flaming or fanning his ego up, thinking that I will not, because if I decide to back down now, people in my country, men, will think that, well, I failed on the course that I took, and therefore that is what is pushing him to unleash his venom on Ukraine. What do you think about all that? I want to know what you think about it. It's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, when it comes to the U.S., now guns has been the leading cause of death in U.S. children. Now guns have overtaken car crashes. But it's a country where they don't want to come now with a policy or a law to ban the, should I call it the usage or the availability of guns? Now, the story says guns overtook car crashes to become the leading cause of death for U.S. children and teenagers in 2020. New research shows. Now, data from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, showed that over 4,300 young Americans died of firearms-related injuries in 2020. Now, while suicides contributed to the toll, the data showed that homicides form the majority of gun-related deaths. More than 390 million guns are owned by U.S. civilians. My goodness, that is a lot of guns to go around. All right, then, I bet every household has got one. Without average there. Well, let's move on to some other stories making the rounds. Honduran ex-leader flown to U.S. on drug charges. I remember a few days or weeks ago, he was arrested. The former president of Honduras, John Orlando Hernandez, has been extradited to the United States to face charges of drug trafficking and money laundering. Mr. Hernandez, who governed the Central American nation until January, was put on board a U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration plane for New York. He was arrested at his home just weeks after his second term in office ended. The ex-leader has denied wrongdoing, arguing that disgruntled drug traffickers are trying to frame him. Mr. Hernandez is facing charges of conspiracy to import or control a controlled substance into the U.S., using or carrying firearms, including machine guns, conspiracy to use or carry firearms. Now, he's a president at the time, or he was a president at the time. He could do all that. apart from actually sending hard drugs to that part of the world. It is all coming your way from Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, Beijing has kicked off mass testing after COVID spike. The dozens of cases were reported, sparking fears that Beijing could face a similar situation to Shanghai. There are some stories making the round, so if you have a plan to travel to that part of the world, be rest assured it's going to be a very challenging time for you. As to whether you have your thing to come back on time is another story. But it's all coming your way from Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's take a quick break. We come back and we come to the UK and have a look at some of the stories making the round. Records court waits for sexual offense victims. P&O ferries hits back at staff pay cut claim, and the Prime Minister messages Angela Rayner over misogyny claims, and price rises trigger shift from saving to borrowing. A forced stab to death in a South East London home. These are some of the stories making the rounds here in the UK. Stay tuned and don't you go away. A quick break and I had a sip of water and we continue with the program. Stay tuned.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Tune in to On Point here on Star Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancer taking over. Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancer taking over. Yo, what's up, people? This is a boy Raskin Bobo One. Tune in every day, every night at the Star Radio UK with the big man them Archie. When I say Orta, you say fire.
Yes, so the fire is still on the mountain. You are still tuning in to Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Bringing the time now to 16 minutes past the top of the hour. That means 16 minutes past 12 here in the UK. Wherever you are, you add and subtract and you get the right time. Let me say good afternoon to Mr. Ebenezer Hammond as well, and to Mr. Isaac Makiva all the way in the US as well. I'll get back to you in a moment. Was trying to call me. Yes, and to all the Makivas and my family there, I salute you all. I hope you're all doing very, very well as well. Okay, so the top story that has been making the rounds, people have been talking about it. Well, Boris Johnson has contacted Labour's deputy leader Angela Rayner to make clear that he views claims about her in the Sunday newspaper misogynistic. The politicians have condemned the suggestion Miss Rayner tries to distract the Prime Minister in the Commons by crossing and uncrossing her legs. Now, I said that some unnamed Conservative MPs had made the claim. The minister said Tory MPs who hold those views could face serious consequence now if they were identified. The Technology Minister Chris Phillips told the BBC that he expected the Conservative Party would attempt to identify who was responsible for those views, but he said doubted the Mail on Sunday would reveal who made those comments, giving journalists fiercely guard their sources. Now, Downing Street will not be asking for any inquiry into who made the comments to the newspaper, with a source saying this was because such inquiries rarely found the person in question. Miss Rayner dismissed the story as a perverted smear that showed women in politics face misogyny every day. Now, during the Prime Minister's question time, when we have the Prime Minister standing at the box to make statement, do you think it is time for him to, because there are serious things where questions are being thrown at him where he has to be agile to be able to be responding to that? Do you think it is a time for you to be looking at whether somebody is seated, whatever? I mean, that's not time for that. So for them to be saying that, do you think that, well, the rumor mongers or whoever are saying that should be brought to book, it's something to just distract attention? Because again, we have some information coming through that to Gray's report is damning when it comes to the Prime Minister. Once again, then as people are calling for his head at the moment, do you think that this is going to push him to the tip for him to flip now? What do you think about all that? Well, it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. We've got about 11 minutes to finish the first part of the program, but wherever you are, don't you tap the dial. It is Starr. Now, 4 people have been stabbed to death in Southeast London because we are in the Southeast and therefore we look at such stories. Officers were called to reports of a disturbance at a home in Delford Road, Bermondsey at about 0:40 BST today. Now, the victims, 3 women and a man, were all pronounced dead at the scene by emergency workers. A man has been arrested on suspicion of murder and is in custody at the South London police station, the Met Police have said. It is thought that all 5 people were known to each other. The London Mayor Sadiq Khan tweeted that he was heartbroken. My thoughts are with the family and friends of those who have lost loved ones in this awful crime, he added. He goes on further to say London Ambulance Service said it was called at 02 hours, 02:07 hours, and they said we sent 3 ambulance crews, 2 fast response units and 2 incident response officers, 2 advanced paramedics and a team leader to the scene. Our team worked closely with colleagues from other emergency services. Sadly, despite the best efforts of our medics, 4 patients died at the scene. 1 man was taken to the hospital as a priority. Now, the London Ambulance Services was not able to confirm if the person who was taken to hospital was the same person who had been arrested, but said only 5 people had been in the property. Detectives from the Met Specialist Crime Units are investigating, and police said next of kin were being contacted. So the question is, was it a family or were it people who were sharing a house? What exactly took place there? But more will be coming your way, and as and when we have them, I promise you, I'll be bringing it to you wherever you might find yourself. It is Starr Radio UK. The P&O ferries hit back at staff pay cut claim. The P&O ferries has hit back at the claims that it's tried to get its new cheaper agency staff to accept even lower wages. The RMT union said it received reports of new workers at Dover being asked to sign new contracts, replacing ones they had signed weeks ago on lower pay. It reported P&O ferries to the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency, which ensured the new workers retain their wages. But P&O ferries said no agency seafarers were asked to accept reduced wages. The company, which has come under fire for sacking 800 workers without notice and replacing them with cheaper agency staff in March, said there were no plans to change or reduce the wages of the new seafarers. In the statement on Monday came after the National Union of Rail, Maritime and Transport Workers (RMT) claimed a seafarer on the Spirit of Britain ferry at Dover, hired as a replacement for the sacked staff last month, contacted union begging for help in a dispute over pay. The union said the company was now trying to bring in an exploitative model with the lowest possible standards they can get away with. But the question is, now this is a company that is running the business. They think that, look, the tide is too high and that they cannot cope with it, okay, and decide, okay, now let's get rid of them. The process of getting rid of them was wrong. Okay, at least give them the opportunity to either resign or let them plan. But just to come on and just announce it, not even writing to them personally, but announce it, call them to what do you call it, an online conference or meeting, and then announce that on Zoom or whatever they use to do that was quite a bad one for them. However, the situation is, now if you're running a business, though maybe initially things were taken along nicely, now you look at the situation, it's not going the way that you thought it should go. Now you want to do a U-turn. Can you just do it, or to be at fault? I mean, if you take any action, people will think that, well, because you sack people, because you get it, because the people are not, the PNO are not a charity body. Okay, they are business people. They've invested the money. They want to make profits out of it. Now, how do you deal with that? And is government going to come in to help these workers who have been fired or stuff like that? Well, we'll be looking into it. Now, if you're not affected by that, I will want you to share your story with us. This is all Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, when we talk about price rises, you will be baffled. But greater number of people are borrowing more and expecting to save less as the rising cost of living bites in the UK. Official figures have suggested nearly 1 in 5, that is 17%, said they were borrowing more than they did a year ago, based on a survey conducted in March. Some 43% said they will not be able to save money in the next 12 months. At no time in the past 2 years has that figure been any higher, the Office for National Statistics said. Now, surging price rises for essentials such as food and fuel have affected household budget in recent months. The chief reason for the squeeze has been the rising cost of gas and electricity. The honest survey was conducted before a 54% rise in domestic energy bills took effect in April, but still takes into account the general trend of sharply rising prices as measured by inflation. Okay, well, so that seems to be the story making the rounds in the UK. Final one before we bring the first part of the program to a close and then join HRH Linda Pallian on the Career 101 once again. A program that has been tailored, measured to meet you when it comes to your career. It doesn't matter which part of the world you find yourself. If you listen to it and you use the resource or the information that is being put across, I tell you that you better your life when it comes to your career. So what about that? Okay, serious sexual offenses are taking the longest time on record to go through Crown Court in England and Wales. Now, exclusive data compiled found such cases averaged 9 months to complete in 2021, with differences depending on where you live. Now, Justice Secretary Dominic Raab said delays were caused by the pandemic, but barristers blame funding cuts. Now, we all know that during the pandemic, lots of cases, because of the courts, cases that were being set upon were either virtual ones, but this is the case where when it comes to rape and sexual offenses, well, they're saying that, well, the backlog, seems to show that it's going to take you up to about 9 months to get justice, if any. Now, some victims have said they will consider not reporting such crimes due to their experience of delays. Now, Lisa, that's not her real name, it's a pseudonym, was raped by someone she knew in 2017, but it took until late summer 2021 for her attacker to be convicted and jailed. So interestingly, if a case like that, and but you've not moved out of the area where this perpetrator is, and you seem to be seeing the person all the time, unless of course the police will put a decision in place, where injunction in place, where this person cannot maybe come close to where you are. If not, I think that even his family, the person's family, his or her family, could be intimidating victims. What about that? Well, but I don't think that you have to be quiet about it. If you've fallen prey to that, please report it and let the authorities work on it for you. It doesn't matter. Someone to say that justice delayed is justice denied. However, I still think that, as the former president, the late president of Ghana, did say, he said that the wheel of justice grinds slowly. I don't know whether pertaining to Africa or pertaining to this part of the world. Now, despite seeing justice, she said he had been left with no confidence in the system. Now, God forbid it ever happen again or to any of my family, but I wouldn't promote going through the system and even reporting a crime of this nature anymore. The data from July to September 2021 revealed that the average case length for sexual offenses was 266 days, or about 9 months. The longest period for sexual offense cases was in Leicester, which took 453 days, about 15 months on average, to go through the Crown Court. Now, Plymouth had the shortest wait for sexual offense cases to be completed, with an average of 76 days, about 2.5 months. Now, meaning there is over a year's difference between the two courts. The case length is considered to be the time from the first Crown Court hearing to the sentencing or end of a case. But at times some of the cases said that the defense will find, reasonable facts to actually clear the accused. You get it? Okay, so they would think that maybe along the line, there was this case where the lawyers who actually represented the accused person, it took a long time because it'd been to other places, and it was virtually going down until they found out that some messages that was exchanged between the accused person and the alleged victim came to prove the person innocent of whatever he was being accused of. So I'm just saying that, it's going to take a long time, and whilst you are doing that, we have the defense also doing their work, doing their homework to make sure that, if the person is going down, it's going down justifiably. But this and a lot more we're going to be looking at as the days unfold. But on that note, let me say thank you very much for tuning in to listen to us. I'm going to take a quick break. We come back and I'll bring you Career 101 with HRH Linda Pallian. Stay tuned and don't you go away.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Well, it's Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing you one of the oldies from much of the day from Ghana. Okay, but it's now time for us to have our own, who I saw dancing to that music, one of the oldies. I think she was falling in love with that song there. And let me take that opportunity to say good afternoon to you, Linda.
Good afternoon, how are you?
I'm doing very, very well, and you?
I'm good. That was one of my dad's favorite songs.
Oh, okay. Then I did a good selection there. How was your weekend?
It was quite eventful, but really good. Really good.
How was the weather there? Because it was quite very, very bad weather here in the UK.
It wasn't too bad, to be fair. We're still It's fairly cold, but we're still in the 20s. So we're not
okay. Okay, and we are in the zeros though. Today we are enjoying up to about 3 here in London, but hey, we are happy to be here.
Wow. Yeah, rather you than me.
Well, listeners, our own HRH Linda Pallion for you. So, Linda, what are we looking at this afternoon?
This afternoon, we're looking at preparing for your next level in careers.
Okay, preparing for your next level in careers. Okay. Well, listeners, are you prepared? What preparation have you done so far when it comes to your career? Are you stuck? Do you feel stuck? At times people feel stuck and they don't know what to do, but that's what Starr Radio UK does. We make sure that we bring you tailored measured programs to help you in all aspects of your lives, and this are pertaining to your job front or your what do you call it? Linda, bail me out there.
Your vacation.
We make sure that you have the best of advice so that you know what to do. We are ending the year now. I mean, we have just about a month to go. Now, come 2022, what will you do when it comes to job front? Over to you, Linda.
Absolutely. It's quite frightening. 2022 is around the corner. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's about 2020, not so long ago. Right. We're talking about preparing for your next level because this is for you if you're feeling helpless. Your efforts are not being seen. You've been told to be patient because of the pandemic and there's no promotion opportunities. And if you're feeling like this is for you because this is the steps that you can take that you don't have to wait for your management to do. Because sometimes we sort of give away our power when we're waiting for somebody else to tell us we're good enough. But if you start doing these things, one, you can reassure that you're good enough. You might find that there's more opportunities there for you than you actually thought there was in the first place. And you can then evidence these when it comes to your promotion, when it comes to your career change, when it comes to maybe starting your side hustle or a business on your own, or just negotiating your pay rise, whatever it is, whether it's a promotion, whether it's a pay rise. It's really important to take control, get some control back at least in starting to do things that will help and benefit you and your career. Now, I was doing a lecture this morning and I was talking about intrapreneurship. A lot of us think that when we are working for somebody, we're doing them a favor. It's for them, and I need to do these reports so they can have these numbers and whatever. And what we really fail to realize that riches and leadership, they're all muscles and skills. Riches isn't the amount of money you have in your bank, because that fluctuates all the time. The skill you build that you can create that again even when you have nothing. This is why the rich, after they've gone bankrupt, after they've lost everything, if they've built it properly and they've gained the skill and the muscle, they can get back rich quick. It's a muscle skill that you learn. So when you're working for somebody, what you're being trained to do is building that muscle and that skill. And if you can recognize it, even if it's a job that you don't enjoy, but you can recognize the skills that you're gaining and the muscle that you're building to be able to do that at any given point, that really helps. I'll talk more about that on the first point.
Okay.
And the second thing is leadership as well. You don't have to be in a management position to call yourself a leader. Leadership is not a position. It's understanding that I'm a self-starter. I'm directing myself. I'm directing my affairs. I'm directing the stuff that I can control. I finish this project if I hand it in 3 days before the deadline, or if I hand it in last minute. Time that I clock in and the time that I clock out. And if I'm the person of my word, that's all leadership. So it's really important, especially for us that are employees, to really embody these entrepreneurship skills that's going to move you forward in the next vocation or career or job that you do.
Okay.
Career is a vehicle to do your purpose or to do what fulfills you. Whatever the job title is, whether it's a chicken fryer at one point or a carpenter or whatever it is, that's just the how to fulfill your skills and your potential. But whatever you're doing, you need to do it to the best of your ability, because that's how you move up. So speaking of which, I've identified 5 areas that you can raise your profile and you can prepare for your next level at whatever stage of career you're at. You might be at the top of your game and you're looking at the next business venture. You might be middle management and you're looking at going to senior management. You might be in a managerial position and you're looking to strategic leadership. Whatever it is, these skills applies to you.
Okay.
The first one is align your personal goals to your professional goals. Align your personal goals to your professional goals. Make it personal. Make it personal to you. What skills am I gaining by doing this particular task? Yes, they've given me more patience than everybody else, or less holidays, but what am I gaining from that? Which muscle am I developing? How does this relate to my greater purpose and my why? You know, I'll use nursing homes as an example. If you find that you're always getting the hardest patients, and I know a lot of my family working in nursing, it's basically say you always get these complaints, and you think, well, how many people have I helped today compared to everyone else?
Yeah.
It's hard to see it when you're on the ground doing it, but when you're coming home and being discouraged and complaining about it, switching the mindset to going, okay, I'm learning that I can run the whole floor by myself. I didn't even need that agency's help because it didn't help. And I can put that in my job review and say that when I'm asking for more money, because now this person, thanks to this person who didn't show up or didn't help, I now have the experience of running the floor by myself.
That's right.
And I did a great job at it. So now I'm management. You can build a strong case for your development or your next level based on you aligning your personal goals to your professional goals. And remember, you got the job or you got into the career for a reason. So really reminding yourself what the reason is keeps you sane and keeps the mental health a bit better than it would be if you're just focusing on the negative. So that was the first point, align your personal goals to your professional goals. The second point is tandem development. Tandem development. And when I say tandem, side by side, it's so easy to get caught up in the day-to-day that you forget to do your own personal and professional development. And then 3 years down the line, oh, I started with this person, and how come they're now promoted and I'm still in the same band? I'm still the same rank. Oh wow, the time has passed, and 7 years I'm still here, and I haven't moved much. I may have got like a 70p pay rise. You're ignoring the growth process that you needed to have been doing whilst doing the day-to-day. The day-to-day is great, and it will get you the immediate reward. But what you need to remember, and especially for yourself, because a lot of people wait for their managers to go, oh, have you done this training? Or I've identified this training course that you need to go on. And a lot of people, and I know long time ago when I used to work for people when we had training, but I would leave that because I wanted to do it at work, in the work time, so that I was cheating the man, you know. And I'm saying this because I know a lot of people can relate. You know, you think, oh well, I have an hour to do training or half a day to do training, so I'm going to do it as slow as I can. Let them on the shop floor suffer. I'm going to take 2 days out to go on this training. But a lot of us really leave it up to our managers to tell us when to do it. You know. And when it's about to expire, and you're rushing through these multiple choice questions to do them quickly. You have to take control and ownership of that personal development, and especially if you're looking to go further than the next level, whether it's the next position or your boss's position or whatever it is. You know, you can't, to be extraordinary, you have to do things that other people haven't done.
That's right.
You can't do the bare minimum in your training to do that. So you have to take control over the basic training that you have to do, but also at any advanced training that you can get your hands on, so that you can be helpful when you're needed before you're appointed there, because then you can prove that I can do this.
Yeah. But Linda, on that, you know, there are some people who will say that, look, my boss or the job description said that they give me so much to do and I need to concentrate and make sure I do it efficiently. So by so doing, it steals the time that they can use for their personal development, and so because trying to meet all those job assignment that have been given to them, they end up that way. So they will say, I'm still doing the job, I'm doing what is, but maybe personally they wouldn't have done anything to progress. So how did they deal with that?
I think I'd say 99% of people find themselves in that boat where you're working overtime on your day to day anyway. There's literally no time to do career or personal professional development. But this is why, if you can't afford to do it in your work, you should be doing it outside of work, because it's important. It's a long-term game, right? If you're thinking, oh well, it needs to be done within work time, and when I come home I'm tired and whatever.
Yeah.
That's when the time goes quickly, and you realize that the last thing you learned was back at school, or the last certificate was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And now kid who's come up with the latest technology, which you've missed because you've been busy doing the old technique and archaic way of filing accounts. And I was like, oh, it's a new system, and they're teaching you stuff.
Yeah,
you know, you've got the background knowledge, and if you'd invested a little bit of the weekend or a little bit of your personal time, or maybe negotiate so that you have time to be able to do your professional development. And a lot of companies, if you ask, will give it to you because they have the resources there. Some of them are subscribed to, I think there's a training platform called lynda.com from LinkedIn, if I'm not mistaken. I think LinkedIn bought it. And I mean that even now that's outdated. But there's a lot of new technology coming up that you need to keep. You can't afford not to keep in touch with.
Yeah.
If you have to do personal time, so be it. But again, it's understanding that this is a you project, not a them project.
Okay. So you have to make the time yourself to do that.
Exactly. When you learn those skills, you can then get a better job that allows you to use the new skills, work less time for more money. You owe it to yourself to do it. So again, the first thing is changing that mindset of they wouldn't allow me to do it. It's like, well, I'm allowing myself to do it. I'm taking control over this process.
Well, listeners, HRH Linda Pallion for you on Career 101, and today we are looking at preparing for your next level in your career. Hey, are you really prepared? Are you following us? Do you have any questions? Continue to listen to her, and at the end of the program we'll put all the contact details for you to still continue to enjoy and make sure that you've got into a place where you can say, yes, I'm prepared for the next level. Stay tuned. Over to you, Linda.
Wonderful. So we've spoken about the first step, aligning your personal goals and to your professional goals. We've spoken about doing your personal and professional development in tandem to your day-to-day. The third point is being assertive, raising your profile by being assertive. Now, I know this is a sore point for a lot of people because assertiveness means you're going to have to put your foot down. Assertiveness means that you might have to speak out, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the loudest person gets heard. Assertiveness is a lot more than that. Assertiveness comes from knowing yourself, your skills, what value you add, what you tolerate, what you don't tolerate, what your values are, what you will accept and what you won't. You know, and a lot of people don't take the time to know that. So then they find themselves being walked all over at work. or having the boundaries constantly pushed.
Okay.
And it's harder and harder to say no because you haven't established what the line is. No, it's one thing crossing a line that you didn't know was there.
Yeah.
And one thing where you know this is the line, and when I cross it, these are the consequences. Everyone should have these in their work, in their personal lives. You should have your boundaries. You have to be firm about what you believe in, what you don't. And not only that, but also be vocal about it. Make sure that everyone, your colleagues, your management, everyone you work with knows it. And how you can do it is not just by saying it, but by embodying it.
Okay.
Say, oh, I like people that keep to their word, and I don't like change. And then next time you say something and you don't believe it.
Yeah.
And you don't follow through.
Yeah.
That gives mixed messages, and nobody's going to respect that line because you've crossed it.
Now, let me ask you something about assertiveness and aggressiveness. Now, some people being assertive become aggressive. I don't know, but I'm looking at both. And how do you try not to be aggressive by being assertive?
I think aggressive is more of a personality trait. Because I always say no is a complete sentence.
Okay.
And actually, this is a great point you raised, because I was working with a client, and we were talking about, and she does private English teaching, but the hours are unsustainable because she has too many students.
Yeah.
But also she's scared because the parents want her to babysit the kids there, so she changes the hours, and it will change their whole lives, and it becomes hard, where she bears the brunt of the burden.
Yeah.
And I was saying that you don't owe anybody else an explanation, but you owe yourself an explanation. If you can tell yourself that I'm doing this because it's better for my mental health, and convince yourself that that's the case for you, and you're clear in your conscience that's the case for you. You don't need to give people a reason. A yes is a yes, a no is a no.
I can do it, I can't do it. That's it. Take it or leave it.
it's as clear as black or white, you know. There's no workaround, and it's really putting those boundaries firm in place.
Yeah.
To come back to your question, in terms of being aggressive, people become aggressive maybe not because of the actual barrier itself, or not because of the actual issue, but something else that drives aggression. Maybe the fact that people are constantly trying to push it and they haven't been able to deal with or communicate that better to them, so that it turns to aggression. Or people get aggressive when their boundaries are constantly pushed out, repeatedly telling people these are the boundaries. But it doesn't necessarily have to be. And I also say, for shy people, you don't have to be extroverts to be assertive. Again, whether you do it in person, whether you do it in writing, whether you do it by video, by pigeon message, do that message, but make sure you stand by it.
Okay.
You don't have to do it in a harsh way. It can be in a nice, polite way, but don't budge.
Okay.
When there is clear boundaries, when people don't know where they stand. And also, speaking of racial profile, it helps people to respect you if you are you stand by your boundaries. They know where they stand, and they can pick a side. Whereas if your boundaries are not firm, it's harder for people to know what they can try with you and what they can't.
Okay.
So it's really important in your career and your job to do that.
Okay. All right. Go on.
Also, the last point about assertiveness is don't be passive. If you believe in something, stand by it, talk about it, take a stance to it. Don't be passive. Because, for example, let's take something that's less controversial. For example, what you do on the radio. If the government makes a policy that you think isn't right, you take a clear stance to it. This should have been it, and in my opinion, this. So you can take the objective, whatever's happened. The government said they're going to increase electricity prices or whatever it is. And say, I think it's wrong because blah blah blah. It's not in line with inflation, and you can give your argument. It's the same with you as an individual at work. Take a point, add your opinion to it, and share it so that you're taking a stance. But if you're going to be passive about it, people don't know, again, what your boundaries are or where you stand, so they can't say this person's definitely with us or against us, and you end up getting left behind on either camps. So it helps to take a stand on something that you care about, not on everything, of course. The fourth point is what I call in commercial presence. Have a commercial presence. We've all been taught about commercial awareness. You need to know what's going on in your industry. You need to know what's going on in your field. But a lot of people have the commercial awareness, but they don't have the presence to it. You need to look outside the immediate, this is my my desk, this is my office, this is my little team of people, and this is what we do. But what's going on in the wider team, what's going on in the industry in general, what's going on in the world in general, how does it affect it? And then talk about it. You know, so again, whether it's LinkedIn you're sharing on or Twitter, join the conversations. Put your name and your opinion on what's going on in your industry and in other industries and how it relates to your work. Because that's how your name is going to be synonymous with what you do.
Okay.
That's how they're going to know what you do. That's how people are going to recommend you when it comes to the subject that you're the expert in. That's how your name will come up in conversations when they're talking about this subject, because you're here to be the expert in it. It's important to have a presence as well as awareness when it comes to commercial affairs.
Okay.
And then finally, personalize the job. There's nothing greater than having a you job, what they call a you job. And if you can make your job so that it fits like a glove to what your aspirations are, to what your hobbies are, to what your values are, and you embody that job, you become indispensable. It takes a while to craft, but when you do it right, you become indispensable. Right. So when I talk about, a lot of people think you have to have a separate personal and professional life. You know, professional person and personal home, you know, professional life and personal. And it doesn't have to be. If you're able to merge it into one, it's great. So for example, I'll give you two examples. I think a lot of people are familiar with the TV show Judge Judy.
Yeah.
When she started out as the judge on the show, her idea was to pitch it as a hot bench, and just have the judge and the people working with the people. But they wanted to name it after her because they thought it'd be more personal, etc. So that was one aspect of it. And the second aspect was she was being told she needs to act like this and do this for the camera. And she stood her guns when she said, look, the one thing I know how to do is being a judge. The one thing I know how to do is producing. So let me do my job and you produce. Because if she's going to be bogged down by, oh, I need to look like this all the time, I need to look in this direction, I can't say this, I need to watch my words. You become this inauthentic version of yourself because you're too much in your head and thinking. It's very staged.
Yeah.
And years later, I think she's been on the TV for about 30 years. Remember, she became indispensable to the job that she's still working at this day.
Yeah.
Even she was being a diva and they wanted to fire her. They realized, oh, the name is Judge Judy because that's.
You fire her, she takes her name away.
You could have to find a new judge called Judy with the same message. So again, that was a stroke of luck. But this is what I mean by personalized jobs, and also the fact that she has this unique and inimitable personality with the show, even though now there's a lot more judge shows, I should say.
We have Reindeer here, Judge Reindeer, we have a few of them,
all of them. She still stands out because she put her special mark on it, with the being harsh, with the ridiculous one-liners, with the giving people growing people dressing downs on camera, all of that stuff. So if you make the job you can really raise your profile and become very hard to replace. Another good example, which is probably more down to earth for most of us, is one of my clients who has just got a job as a champion for wellness in the government sector. So helping communities and coming up with initiatives for wellness programs. Yeah, this job suits her to a T because she does all of these Tough Mudder challenges and runs and all of these health initiatives, always doing the juice fast and the fasting. And it's why don't you then use your own personal example and share things that you're doing, initiatives that you're doing at work that you've tried before, things that you've done that hasn't worked. Have a personal story when you're going and talking to people about getting on board of this initiative, and it becomes a huge journey that no one can replace you, because anybody else that comes to do the job that isn't as passionate about fitness as you are will seem like the wrong person for it.
Wow.
So again, if you can find a way to personalize the job, it really helps. And that's the final point on that.
Wow. Listeners, that is the way you prepare yourself for the next level in your career. Okay. But on that, let me quickly ask one question before we run up the conversation. Now, there are some people. Okay, let's say I'm presenting a program. Now, people have watched how I present the program, and then they're trying to maybe in another field try to mimic some of the things that I do on mine. Maybe it's a good side to it. Now, if somebody does that, do you think it's good in any way?
I would say flattery is the best form of, it's the best compliment, but you can never be somebody else, honestly. It's very short-sighted to try and copy another producer. So, for example, what a signature Archie word is, or accent or whatever, and you can try and copy, but it won't resonate in the same way to different people. It's much better to see what makes me different and explore. Sometimes we take inspiration from other people. Flat out copying, it might work in the short term, but it's not sustainable in the long term. So you can be inspired by it, but find your thing that makes people remember you, and with that. And you'll attract the people you need to attract, and you will repel the people you don't need to attract. And that's okay.
Interesting. Thank you very, very much. Okay, listeners, we have been discussing preparing your next level in your career with HRH Linda Pallian on Career 101. She's going to just sum up all that she said so far, and then she will put her contact details there. But everything that we discuss has got a place where it is. It's in the book. And I can tell you, this is in the book as well. She'll be telling you more about the book as well. But so, Linda, over to you.
Absolutely. It's always in the book. Read the book. We've been talking about preparing yourself for the next level. So we've spoken about aligning yourself, your personal goals with your professional goals. We've spoken about doing your development in tandem with your day-to-day work. We've spoken about being assertive, commercial presence as well as commercial awareness. And finally, we've spoken about personalizing the job to you. And we discussed in depth how you can do it to raise your profile and prepare yourself for your next level of success. If you want to know more, contact me directly. You can also find it in the books, which will be on your screen in a minute. The book on career success is a complete guide of how you can develop yourself and your skills for the next level of success. So this is for for everyone at any stage of your career, to develop yourself, to whether you're starting a business, whether it's entrepreneurship, whether it's intrapreneurship, working for someone, whether it's a promotion, pay rise, a career change, getting the credibility, recognition, and the money that you deserve. Career Success is the book that's going to help you do that. If you're a bit unsure of what to do next, How to Career will give you an easy 6-step checklist of how to figure out if the position you're in is right for you, or the position that you're considering is right for you. And of course, the Career Workbook, which is tended to be the most popular book of them all, is a DIY complete journal to evaluating where you are in your career, what you're missing, what it takes to get to the next level. It's a handbook that, again, I use with my coaching clients. And if you can't afford coaching at the moment, just use that. It will give you steps. It will give you prompts. You know, the whole thing about coaching is prompting people to think maybe things that they haven't thought before, or explore other areas that might be holding them back. And you have it all in this book, and it retails for €15 or less than a meal, less than a pizza, a bucket of KFC. Honestly, the best resources ever. I'm doing an international book launch this Friday for these 3 books here in Cyprus, and there's going to be a press conference and presentations about the book. Honestly, this book, I had a publisher call me out of the blue to tell me she personally read it and she felt like it helped her in her career.
Wow.
Was asking me if she wanted, and honestly, like this is the fulfillment of what I do. So when I'm saying that it's a great resource for you, I mean it. You'd have nothing to lose, really. If you buy it and you didn't like it, give it to a friend. Christmas is coming. Yeah.
Okay, listeners, that is HRH Linda Pallian. But can you repeat your contact details so those who want to get in touch with you can do so again, please?
Absolutely. Get in touch with me at lindapallian.com or on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn at Linda Pallian, or at My Cheerleader on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook as well, and Twitter at My Cheerleader, because I'm a cheerleader for your success. And I'm Archie's cheerleader, and I will be your cheerleader too.
Yes. Thank you very, very much, Linda. Have a lovely day. We've enjoyed the time with you. Well, thank you very much for tuning in to listen to us. And of course, listening to HRH Linda Pallian. I'm preparing for your next level in career. You want to know more about what we discussed and a few that we've discussed in the past? Just go to our podcast session or go to the Starr Radio UK YouTube. You'll find it all there. Just listen to it, and it helps you a great deal. But as we did discuss, get your hands on the books. It will help you. They are a resource, very, very precious one. So on that note, once again, let me say thank you very much for joining me today on the morning show. God willing, I'll be coming your way tomorrow, if we have life, to bring you another edition. But this afternoon, exactly at 5 o'clock, the On Point Show will be coming your way. And at 10 o'clock, some reggae tunes coming your way with Mr. Dave West. Unconscious Reggae. So on that note, once again, let me say thank you very much for joining me. Enjoy the rest of the tune from Papa Youngson. He says Jimmy. When it ends and you don't hear from me, it's been me, Archie, saying have a top of the day. Bye bye for now.
Yes,
This is Starr Radio UK.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening.